Here's the bike, 2013 Honda CBR500R. Picked it up a few days ago, kind of looking over everything. Major thing that is wrong with it, took off the fairings. I knew this before I purchased it, but the oil pan completely cracked from when the guy crashed it. So have that on the way. We'll install that first and then fill it up with oil and see if we can get it running. Also looking over everything, I noticed a lot of coolant and the reservoir is completely empty. So either it was leaking out from it being on its side or there's a leak somewhere, but we'll address that once we get the oil pan fixed and kind of go from there. The main issue with the bike obviously is the oil pan and then just a lot of cosmetic stuff. This entire handlebar is all bent up, the headlights smashed. So a lot of cosmetic stuff and scrapes and whatnot. Once the oil pan's fixed, it should be good to fire up. We'll check the coolant and make sure there's no leaks of any sort, and then kind of go from there with the cosmetic stuff.
All right, so I have the left side of the fairings removed. Today's project is to move the right side so we can get to the headers, because those need removed to replace the oil pan. And once we replace that, then the next step is to start it and kind of see where we're at. So we're going to dive into that today. All right, so we finally got that fairing removed. Quite the hassle, but it's all good. You can kind of see, I can't tell if that's oil or coolant or both, but it's pretty much everywhere. So we'll have to further look at that once we start it up and see if there's a leak anywhere. Looking over everything, I can't see any cracks or breaks, and the radiator looks good. The fans look good as well. Everything looks good, which is promising. We'll just have to dive a little deeper and see what we find. But yeah, now on to removing the headers. I have to take this off and all the shield, and then we get to that oil pan down there. You can kind of see the crack. Yep, that's next. All right, so we have the fairing off, the exhaust off. Here's just a better look at that oil pan. All right, but everything else engine-wise looks good. I don't see any cracks of any sort. Little scuff there, but everything else looks good. So next step, remove the old oil pan, put the new one in. All right, so here's the old oil pan. Everything down here looks good. The sump is in good condition. No scratches of any kind there. Everything else looks good. You have no cracks of any sort. So, next step is then to get the new oil pan and put it in. So here we have the new gasket and new oil pan. This one did come with the gasket on it, but I bought this used and the gasket looks used as well. So we're gonna take that off and put the new one on. All right, so took the old gasket off, cleaned it up a little bit with the blade there. Gonna go clean it and then put on the new gasket and then install it. All right, so the oil pan is all cleaned up, ready to install the gasket. I also have a new oil filter I'm gonna put on then, and we're good to fill it up and give it a start. So the new oil pan is in. Looks good. Yeah, it looks good. Nice and evenly sealed. So next step, oil filter. Fill it with oil. I need to put the exhaust and the headers back on, and then, yep, fill it with oil, and then we're gonna give it a go. All right, so the moment of truth. Battery's in, exhaust is all reattached, oil's at a good level. All we have left to do at the throttle. There we go. I'm gonna prime the fuel tank a couple times. It's in neutral. So I think the issue is the throttle is all banged up, and that's messing with the idle. So I'm gonna try it again here and give it a little gas, but I don't want to give it too much. There we go. No leaks. There isn't much coolant in it. So I didn't want to leave it run for too long, but no leaks. Everything looks good. It sounded good. No weird noises of any sort. Definitely need to sort out the throttle though. That is all messed up. I'll have to adjust that on that, but it should be good. It sounded good. Cool. All right, so she runs. That's good. Next step then, definitely adjusting this throttle is, well, I need to get a new handlebar and then we'll see if I can adjust that or maybe get a new one because it's very loose and that was the issue. That's why it didn't start right away. There was so much play and it wouldn't idle correctly or something like that. But then I can also get a new headlight and just start with the cosmetic rebuilding process. But the engine seems solid, no noises, and there was no coolant leaking out anywhere. So I will have to fill that up and then double check that, but everything else seems pretty solid. So now just gonna clean it up a little bit. I have some of this engine protection shine. I follow another guy on YouTube who uses this and it cleans up his bikes very nicely. So I'm gonna give it a go. See if we can get rid of some of this oil. There's just like stains all over it. So yeah, we'll go through the bike and clean it up a bit. All right, so there you have it. Nice and shiny. I will get more detailed as I remove more things and replace them, but clean up nice. Yeah, much better. Got rid of those dumb stains. Cool. All right, guys, well, I'm gonna end the video here. Next video, we'll be diving in. Probably gonna focus mainly on the controls and the headlight, like I said. And then the levers are all messed up. So we'll replace those along with the foot pegs. And the shift linkage is all bent as well. So we'll replace that. And yeah, kickstand. It's all bent. So yeah, so we'll replace all that. And then not too much else after that. Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys.